So I actually have about 15 things I just want to share about Zahara Veterans Network. A lot of you that we've either worked with over the last couple of years, maybe you're not quite sure who we are. You've seen maybe our purple and green at different veteran events, but I want to tell you a little bit about who we are, because obviously our focus this year is on housing our homeless veterans, and we want to do it in a way that hasn't really been done before. First, Zahara Veterans Network was founded in 2016 here in the state of Florida. However, it was my own transition experience from when I left the Marine Corps in 2012 that really had me sit down and say, what's a better way that we could be helping and assisting women veterans? Because when you're transitioning from the military service, obviously there's a lot of questions you have about your health care, a lot of questions you have maybe about benefits and things that you've earned, or how do they transfer over. And unfortunately, I was encountering people who really just weren't really forthcoming with the information about how to best assist me. So with that being said, there weren't a lot of, obviously there are not a lot of organizations for women veterans. There's a lot more today, and they're popping up, every couple months there's a new nonprofit for women veterans. I encourage that because I feel like, there's close to 2 million women veterans in the United States of America. There can never be too many organizations to assist them. So as long as it's something, organization that has a unique purpose and is serving the needs of women veterans, which are often very unique, then the more the merrier, because at this point we're about 200 years behind in that department anywhere. Hey Lisa, thank you for joining. So I guess it's now starting to pop up some of those things. So we were founded in 2016. We became a federal 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we were registered in the state of Florida in 2016. So, we have all the certifications. I think sometimes a lot of the comments that I've heard from us doing like the Southern Women's Show and other shows is that people, have questions about when a nonprofit is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So the state of Florida has this wonderful feature built into their agricultural website, and it's called Check a Charity. Anytime you want to know about a charity that's here in Florida, and I believe they may have other like national organizations on there, I'm not sure. I know that it's at least organizations that are here in the state of Florida, and it tells you whether or not that organization is actually valid in their nonprofit status, if they are reporting their finances and things the way they need to be doing. So I think all consumers should just know this. Go out there, hit the Check a Charity, type in Check a Charity Florida on your Google or whatever search engine it is that you're using, and it will pop up. And so if you ever have any questions about the status of Zahara Veterans Network and any other organization that's out there that's operating from the state of Florida, use the Check a Charity feature. That's why it's there. All right, so 3. The Zahara is a Hebrew name. That's a question I get a lot. What does it mean? Hey Lisa. So Zahara means to light, to flourish, to shine brightly. And I established Zahara as a beacon of light for women veterans who are not just in the transition stage, because transitioning from the military is one thing, but as a woman veteran, you're going to transition several times throughout life. When you're leaving relationships, beginning relationships, marriages, having children, all those things are part of a transition in life. So I wanted it to be an organization that would provide light to women veterans no matter what status they were in life. Yeah, so that's Zahara. It means to light, to flourish, to shine brightly. Number 4, our foundational scripture comes from Isaiah 60:1, which says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee." It goes on to say that when the earth is in darkness and its people in gross darkness, that kings will be drawn to our light, and Gentiles will be drawn to our light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. And that's really important. There's a lot of organizations out there that say they're helping veterans. There's a lot of organizations, period, that say they're doing what they were established and founded to do. But what we're finding out is a lot of these organizations are not. So our foundational scripture wants us to, hold us to a higher standard. If, we're saying that we're assisting veterans, that's what we need to be doing to the best of our ability. And that foundational scripture is part of what keeps us grounded, and it helps to drive the organization. So foundational scripture is Isaiah 60:1. And it was mentioned and I think it's on our Facebook page, it was mentioned during the funeral services of former President Bush. And I just thought, oh my gosh, they shared our scripture. So that was an awesome thing to hear, that other people, rely on that scripture. One thing about scripture is tried, is tested, and it's true. And it will always stand the test of time. So our colors are purple and green. So we use purple because not only is it the color of royalty, but it's also the color that represents joint forces, which we are. We help and assist women veterans from all branches of the military. So even though I'm diehard Marine Corps, hoorah, you know I am, got a Marine Corps lamp up there peeking out. Our organization assists women veterans from all services, and that purple color is the color that Joint Forces use. So we use purple, and then we also use green because green is the color of renewal. So when you look at a globe, you see primarily two colors. You see the ocean, which is blue, and then you see that green. Well, that green is renewal, it's growth. Whenever you see green, it means that, you know, things are still able to grow, there's still life. So we want the organization to be, you know, representative of all branches of the military services, but also a place where women veterans, when they come to us and they leave us, they should, you know, feel renewed. They should feel like they learned something, they've got something they can share, they can take back to other women. They want to share what we do. That's what our foundation is. So this thing is over here moving all sorts of types of ways. So that's number 5, our colors, purple and green, and that's why we use them. Now that we've been using purple and green, you know there's 1,001 people now using purple and green, but I just want to say, Zahara was doing it first. Number 6, the logo. So over the last couple years, we've gone through a couple of logos. I've never been super excited about any of the logos that we had. I think they work. Hey, Jerry, how's it going? I think, you know, they work, but I haven't been blown away by logos. But I'm excited that the logo has been completed. It's new. It features a torch, which obviously helps us represent and speak to the light that we spoke about from the organization. That's great. So number 7. For the first 2 years, we hosted events every single month for women veterans, and those were called the Lioness Link-Ups events. And they were designed to connect women veterans to each other, one, to help the conversation start flowing within the women veteran community, because women veterans have a tendency to be very silent. A lot of things take place from the veteran community, and you really won't hear from women veterans, or you won't see a strong representation within the women veteran community. So the first 2 years we hosted those events. We did everything from kayaking to bowling to horseback riding to road trips. I mean, we did everything in 2 years. In 2019, we are not hosting any Lioness Link-Up events. Number 1, we're in an area that has over 20,000 women veterans represented, and we can't get 10% of those to consistently come out to events. So the return on investment just isn't there. Also, with us not having our own facility, every time we host one of those events, we have to spend money to host them. And right now, our biggest challenge in the North Florida area is housing. I cannot comfortably spend money on hosting events that people may or may not show up to when we have women veterans that aren't being housed properly. I would much rather divert that money and use that money to get our housing project established, and then get us our own facility, so that when we begin and pick up the Lioness Link-Up events, they're not gone forever. They're just temporarily suspended. They'll be back, and they'll be back when they don't cost us as much money as it costs right now for us to host them. So that's the Lioness Link-Up events. They're on pause. They'll be back. So we're located in the northeast section of Florida. So the Jacksonville, Florida area, the top 5 counties that are in this area is Baker, Clay, Nassau, St. Johns, and Duval. Duval is where Jacksonville is located. That's where the primary portion of our events are hosted. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining us. Number 8, Zahara Veterans Network is a member of the Veterans Council of Duval County. And those are very important meetings. And they're meetings that I don't see a lot of new faces at. We have a lot of new veteran organizations in the North Florida area, but I don't see a lot of people at the veteran councils. So obviously, all of the counties that I just